and welcome to Off the Rack. I'm Shelly Beyer, and I'm so happy you're here with me today. If you've clicked on this video, chances are you're either getting ready for your own breast reduction surgery or you're just starting to think about it and wondering what really happens on the surgery day. That's what I want to share with you today. My full story. How I felt, what I did, and what really happened. All of it. When I was preparing for mine, I remember watching other videos, trying to find something that felt honest and real, not just a highlight reel or a list of facts. I wanted to hear all the little moments, the parts nobody talks about. So that's how I'm going to share this with you. If you're like I was, I think you'll appreciate that. And I hope it helps you feel more grounded, prepared, and at peace going into your own day. My surgery was on March 10th, 2025, and I had waited a long time for this. I was 52 when I had it done. In the days leading up, I really focused on preparing my body and my space. Even though they told me I could eat up until midnight the night before, I decided to stop eating around 2 p.m. the day before and do a 24-hour fast. I'd done a lot of research and knew that fasting can help your body with healing and repair. So my last meal was a big New York steak, and I made sure to drink plenty of water and electrolytes all throughout the day. In terms of my medications, my surgeon asked me to stop taking my omega-3s and anything that could thin the blood, like aspirin, ibuprofen, or Advil, Motrin, any of that kind of stuff. I was able to keep my hormone replacement patch on and continue with my vitamin D3 and K2, but no garlic supplements, no concentrated anti-inflammatories. For skin prep, I was told to shower with Hibiclens the night before, and again the morning of. No lotions, no makeup, no jewelry, just clean skin. So I washed my hair the night before, so I wouldn't have to wash it again in the morning. And I wanted to make sure my home was ready too, because I knew I wouldn't be able to do much cleaning for at least 6 weeks. So I deep cleaned my house, and the night before surgery, I washed all my bedding. I even took my comforter to the laundromat so it would be nice and fresh. Since I eat carnivore, I didn't do any meal prep, but I stocked up on all my staples like steaks, eggs, salmon, shrimp, chicken, beef, all of it, so that everything was in my house and ready. I also set up a medication caddy with a tracking sheet so my husband could manage all my meds and we could easily stay on schedule. And I prepped my bed with my sleep system blocks so I could sleep elevated for the first several days. In those final few days, I also focused on supplements. Heal Fast, Arnica, liposomal vitamin C. I upped my vitamin D3 and K2 and really took care of my body with good nutrition. Emotionally, I felt peaceful. Honestly, I was surprised. I thought I would be more nervous, but the day before, I was mostly excited. It felt surreal after waiting so long. It was finally happening. That night, I set my intentions, prayed for safety and healing, visualized a smooth, easy experience. I sent gratitude to my surgeon and the team in advance and reminded myself this was a gift. Finally, the morning of surgery arrived. I naturally wake up early, about 3 a.m. every morning, and that morning was no different. I got up, skipped my usual coffee, and just drank some water to stay hydrated for the IV. I spent the morning quietly watching YouTube, including a few more breast reduction vlogs, just letting it all sink in and getting mentally ready. We left the house around 7:30 a.m. because it was about an hour drive to my surgery center, and the drive was peaceful. My husband came with me and stayed with me through all the pre-op. When we got there, I checked in just like a regular appointment because it's actually the same location where I had my consult. I used the restroom, and by the time I came out, the nurse, Victoria, was already calling me back. In pre-op, they checked my blood pressure and oxygen and confirmed when I had stopped eating and drinking and then placed an IV. Thankfully, it was in my arm, not my hand. I had taken Tylenol earlier as they recommended to help make the IV a little more comfortable. I stayed in my own underwear, no bra, and put on their socks and a cap. My husband was able to stay with me the whole time in pre-op, which was really, really nice. Victoria also applied my anti-nausea patch behind the ear, and that was something that I had picked up ahead of time and brought to the appointment with me. I had made it very clear that I wanted to avoid nausea, and they were so good about honoring that. I had the patch plus Zofran before and after surgery. I was having IV anesthesia with a block, not full general anesthesia, and that ended up being a great choice. The anesthesiologist came in, explained everything so clearly, and really put me at ease. Then a little bit later, my surgeon came in. We talked again about sizing. He wrote all over me. And I told him I wanted to go as small as possible without compromising blood flow. We didn't talk about cup sizes, just about getting the best, safest result. I really can't say enough good things about my surgeon and the team. They were so warm, they were fun, and just reassuring. My husband really liked them too. It felt very personal, not clinical or cold at all. When it was time, Victoria came and said, "It's time. Do you want to use the restroom first?" I did. So I used the restroom, gave my husband a hug, and then they walked me back to the OR. It was such a surreal moment. Walking into the room, seeing the surgical team busy at work, they had me lie down, put an oxygen mask on my face, and the anesthesiologist said, "I'm going to give you something to relax you." And that was it. The next thing I remember hearing Victoria's voice saying, "Shelley, it's time to wake up." I get a little emotional. It really felt like coming out of a deep, deep sleep. I don't remember dreaming, just nothing. And then suddenly I was waking up. I actually woke up pretty quickly, probably within about 20 minutes. I spent an hour in recovery, and the first thing I remember, and this makes me laugh, was Victoria trying to give me a cracker. She was saying, "Here, eat this." And she kind of just popped it in my mouth. And in my head, I was thinking, I don't eat crackers. And I ended up spitting most of it out because I'm carnivore. So that was not the snack for me. Shortly after that, my husband came in and I was a little goofy from the anesthesia. And at one point, I looked at Victoria and said, "I like you." And she laughed and she said, "Oh, I like you too." It was just a sweet moment. One thing that really surprised me is that I woke up and I had no breast pain at all. None. I was expecting to feel some pain in my chest, but I didn't, which was amazing. But what I did feel was a deep, sharp rib pain on my left side. And that took me by surprise. I was not prepared for it. It turned out to be an internal suture. My surgeon later explained that sometimes a suture near the ribs can cause this kind of discomfort. They gave me Zofran again as I woke up and some pain medication by mouth, not IV. Another thing that came up was that I wasn't able to pee right away. They had given me a lot of fluids during surgery, and as I was waking up, they told me I had actually been voicing, even before I was fully awake, that I needed to pee. So as soon as I was alert enough, they walked me to the bathroom to try, but I just couldn't go at that point. They reassured me this was completely normal and went ahead and discharged me with the instructions that I needed to try again at home. And if I hadn't peed by 7 p.m., I'd need to call or come back in. And then a little while later, once I was cleared to leave, they helped me to the car and I had my mastectomy pillow with me, which I put between me and the seatbelt. I had heard from the videos that going over bumps could be painful, but honestly, I had no chest pain at all. The ride home was smooth and comfortable. Once we got home, I tried again to go to the bathroom, but it took a little while. Thankfully, by that evening, I was able to go, so no late calls were needed. The rib pain was also bothering me. I noticed that the left drain wasn't feeling much, which kind of worried me a little. So I decided to call my surgeon, and he was wonderful. He called me right back, reassured me that it was completely normal, that it was just an internal suture, and that the drain would even out. I also realized that I needed more help than I thought I would, especially with things like getting up from the toilet. I could move my arms fine and I could wipe myself, but getting up without pushing, it was hard. My husband had to help me the first couple of days. After the bathroom, I tried to take a little walk down the hall, but I got really dizzy and almost fainted. So I laid back down right away. That was the only faint episode I had. For pain management, I stayed on a schedule, alternating Tylenol, ibuprofen, and oxycodone around the clock. I set alarms to stay ahead of the pain, so I wasn't chasing it, and that's really important. It really, really helped. And I was hungry when I got home. My husband made 4 scrambled eggs, which tasted amazing. The other thing that surprised me is I was wide awake that first night. I didn't feel groggy or sleepy at all. I had so much energy, which was so unexpected. I just relaxed in bed and watched TV. If I could go back and tell myself one thing before surgery, it would be to expect the rib pain. No one had mentioned it to me. A friend who had the same surgeon later told me that she had the same pain, but we had never talked about it beforehand. I really wish I had known that that was possible so it wouldn't have caught me off guard. I also learned that not being able to pee right away is really common. So if that happens, don't let it worry you. Everything else, I felt so prepared, but that rib pain, oh my gosh, it really surprised me. If I could sit with you the night before your surgery and tell you one thing, it would be this: don't be afraid. We can tell ourselves so many stories in our heads, but truly, the surgery was so much easier than I thought it would be. I had never had surgery before, and I was always afraid of the idea. But this was such a smooth, easy experience because of my surgeon, my anesthesiologist, the team, and because I prepared my body and my mindset. If you stay in that place of gratitude and trust the process, it really can be a beautiful experience. I do wish I had done it sooner. I waited until I was 52. And there's a little part of me that grieves the years I missed. But I am so grateful that I said yes when I did, that I was open to receiving this gift. And I hope for you too, this can be the beginning of something beautiful. If you'd like some extra support as you prepare, I have a free guide called Fueling Your Body for Surgery. It's a keto and carnivore nutrition guide to help reduce inflammation and support healing. It also comes with a 15-day video series to walk you through it step by step. You'll find the link below. Until then, be gentle with your heart and kind to your body. And remember, you're allowed to feel good in your skin.